Right now, I have a surprise guest who is about to hop on. Momma Occo reached out to me yesterday. Surprisingly, she's about to hop onto my Discord server so we can further discuss about the whole gatekeeping shtick within the VTuber space. Here we go. Oh, hi! Let me see if I can hear you just fine. Can you say something again, please?
Say something again, please.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Hi, welcome.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm surprised you reached out to me and commented on my video the other day.
Oh, I have no issue with commenting on people's stuff. While I do think we have some disagreements, I do think for the most part you and I will probably agree on the things I talk about tonight. One thing that I've noticed, and you could blame this on the autism, you could blame this on just the fact that everybody reads the same thing and can interpret it differently, but I feel like a lot of people misinterpret what I say.
Right. So you believe there's a misunderstanding, at least from what I was able to gather from your video. So what did you think I misunderstood?
Well, so like I said, I wrote down a couple of points here. I think a lot of people think I'm afraid of competition in the VTuber sphere. You mentioned that briefly before watching the video. I don't know if you still were under that assumption, but I am not afraid of competition in the VTubing. If I was afraid of competition, I would probably stop because there's already tons of other drama creators.
Okay, so there is a misunderstanding there. I wasn't referring to you, but other people who wishes to gatekeep the whole VTuber entering shtick. I was talking about those people. Not particularly you. Not you, not in particular. I should have made that much more specific.
No, it's totally fine. Listen, I do believe that some people are terrified of other creators coming into space. Although I think you'll find not many of them are terrified of competition. They're more so terrified of the people or the people that they bring along with them. And that's something that I kind of clarified both in my video and in the stream that preceded it.
Fair take. Someone in my chat, while I was talking about the whole Ludwig situation, they did bring up about the whole, because they're already a large content creator, they shouldn't be entering the VTubing space to begin with, seeing that they already have such a large following and it's unfair. I got that vibe. So that's when I came up with the whole theory. Maybe some people are afraid of competition, thinking it's unfair because they already have such a huge following. Face streaming and VTubing, two completely different spheres, right? So that's where I was able to correlate that, if that makes any sense.
It kind of does. Again, I don't think that people are... if people are jealous or afraid in that way, I think that I would need to know their specific examples, because again, like, I don't mind if a big creator gets into VTubing late into the party. I think that I will have a predisposition to think that that person is catching up on a fad or jumping in on something that is crazy to them. Obviously, Ludwig didn't do that, even though, like, my first impression, before I actually learned that it was a bet between him and Iron Mouse, I was like, catching on a fad, just like everybody else. And I think some people are very... How do I say this? Some people are predisposed to not want to respect them because they feel like... I think I would equate it to people that are very interested in Japanese culture in general. A lot of people just look at it as a fad, something that is interesting to them for the moment, and they're either not going to respect it or jump in there, hold up their shiny new toy, play with it a little bit, and then walk away. And I think some people aren't really particularly happy with those kinds of people. One of the examples I brought up was actually Pokemon in my video, which you talked about very briefly yourself.
Right. I wasn't sure about that whole situation. Since it did happen like a few years ago, and I still wasn't in the VTuber space yet. From my general understanding, the only reason why she wanted a VTuber model in the first place is because she was sick of doing her makeup. And she saw the advantage of using a VTuber model, so she doesn't have to do makeup, get herself ready in the morning. She could just VTube, she doesn't have to fix herself up, and that's the main reason why she wanted to use it. But I also heard it was pretty hypocritical of her because she criticized VTubers. I'm not sure if that was true.
I don't know if she criticized them at the time. See, I remembered the drama when it happened. I didn't talk about it when the drama happened because I became a drama reporting VTuber mostly within the last 6 months to a year. But from what I remember, Yeah, she did do it because she did admit she wanted to make it easier on herself, make it more lazy for herself. I think she also, I think that was probably the outward example that she used. I think she privately wanted to, again, jump in on a fad, which is why I think a lot of people initially didn't respect her for it. And I think a lot of other people didn't respect. What's interesting is you'll know that a lot of people that don't like her didn't like that she was a VTuber. However, not a lot of people actually bring up that a lot of her fans actually really hated her for doing it. Because if she, who is a moderately attractive woman to a lot of different people, decides to get a VTuber model, what is she taking away from her audience of young horny boys?
Oh, okay then.
I don't think that's her main appeal. I know that is an appeal of some of her audience.
For me personally, I wouldn't see it as much as a big deal if a face streamer were to just be a face streamer and a VTuber at the same time. For me personally, anyway. But like I said, it's just a person behind the VTuber model. By the end of the day, we don't have to constantly lump everyone together in the same category. You were worried about bad representation in the VTuber space, like people who won't respect the origins of it. Since VTubing is becoming a lot more popular within the recent years, it's like I understand where you guys are coming from. You're worried how it's going to look to everybody else. But I think at least for us, those who are sane are going to keep that in mind. Like, don't just lump everyone in the same category. Eventually, it is going to happen. Whether we like it or not, more and more bad apples are going to join the VTuber space. We're just using a VTuber model to represent ourselves, you know? So...
yeah. I would say you are correct. Inevitably, there are going to be... I mean, there's already been a lot of people that I would consider to be bad VTubers, and whether that they are bad people IRL and should not be hiding behind a model, or they are bad because of how they've come in and how they've treated the medium. I think that there's a lot of different bad people that shouldn't be a VTuber. Because I even say in my video, there are people that I don't believe should become VTubers or should not have the ability to hide behind a model screen.
It might help if you, let's see, like you say, sometimes you don't make specific tweets. Maybe add some more words to your tweets so people have a much more better idea of what you're trying to say. Because the short tweet, if you could see it in my background, the amount of YouTubers cheering this saddens me. We need to gatekeep against people that would bastardize a medium. And right away, because of the context, a lot of people are not really going to understand what you're trying to deliver.
Yeah, I also think that if I had actually added more context, that it would not have blown up, period.
Exactly.
The only reason why it did blow up is because of this very limited context that, again, I just don't... it makes me shake a little bit when I think about it really hard, that so many people got upset at 2 lines of text that I didn't even think that much about. I just saw it and I was like, oh gosh, we have another Pokimane. He's gonna do exactly the same thing that Pokimane almost did, and it upsets me.
Well, it's also Twitter, to be fair. They're gonna take what you text right off the bat, word for what exactly it is. And they're not gonna think, oh, is there some deeper underlying message here? No, this is Twitter. Make specifics or they're gonna misunderstand something.
It is beautiful. It's one of the reasons why I like Twitter. People say the most off-the-cuff shit. And then, my apologies, I don't know if, I don't want to swear on your channel. I go off on mine, but people say the most off-the-cuff stuff a lot, and it's just my favorite pastime to catalog it and talk about it. And for some reason, that upset people.
Let's see, like what chat is saying. You're more than free to have your own opinions. And like you said, to most people, gatekeeping just sounds very controlling. What right do you have to gatekeep this? You're not the owner of this, you're not the creator of this, you're not the founder of this. What right do you have? And I can also understand what they're trying to say. But I can also understand what you were trying to say. When I watched that video, okay, so I am going to admit this right now. When I first read this tweet, I was probably taking it how a majority was taking it at first, and the word bastardized was a completely new term to me. I'm like, what does that mean, bastardized? And then I had chat looked it up for me. And then someone recommended I watch your video, and then I got a much more better general idea of where you were coming from. And me personally, I can understand it. Despite my own views, I personally can understand it. So you don't have to worry about that, okay?
No, yeah. Like, I saw a lot of mid to high. I didn't see any actual big creators. I saw a lot of mid-tier size creators saying, why do you think you have the right to say this? And it's just like, because it's Twitter. I can say whatever I want on there. As long as I don't advocate for the death of people, which I think is wrong, I can really just say whatever I want. And the fact that people took it, again, the fact that people took a drama creator that here to laugh at drama, the fact that they took those 2 lines that seriously, tells me all I need to know about the EN VTuber scene. That 2 lines of text that can be interpreted in any way upsets 500,000 people to the point where a smaller chunk of that reply to me, and another chunk decide to clip it and say whatever they want about me. It really just like emboldens me to continue laughing, I guess.
Well, as I always say, context is everything, and as I admitted to you just a few minutes ago, at first, I was really confused, and I probably took it the wrong way as well, thinking, oh, what's wrong with this? It doesn't look so bad. He actually looks pretty funny. Catboy doing a VTuber debut, and he's peeing on Connor. No, it's definitely unique. Some of the humor, I will say, will definitely not be for a lot of people. He's definitely not going for the whole traditional VTuber look. Definitely not the idol look, 100%. His own personality just shone right through it. That's the best way I can say it, and that's the beauty of VTubing.
No, yeah, for sure. And what's funny is some people ask me if I even watched the debut. Obviously, I watched. Like when I first saw it, I watched some clips of it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is very cringe." But yes, I did. What's funny is I did watch the entire debut, and while I do think a lot of it is cringe, it does fit in lines of what a traditional YouTuber introduction would be. So that's not really the thing I have the problem with. And I do think that if I had sat down and added context, which I did when I had replied to him, because he had replied to me, and I was like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to actually have a conversation. I told him, I was like, well, this is my concern. I don't necessarily think that you did a horrible job. It's like, you're no Jake Paul. You're definitely no Jake Paul in Japan, but I'm worried about the guys that will follow right after you.
Jake Paul. Oh wait, you mean Logan Paul? Jake Paul is his brother.
Paul, whatever. No,
I agree with you there. Anything else you want to clear up in case we have any more misunderstandings?
Well, was there anything that you were curious about that I could potentially answer for you?
Let me take a minute to ponder about that. I feel like we pretty much discussed the majority of what we want to talk about when it came to the misunderstandings about gatekeeping, the whole VTuber space shtick, and about this tweet you made. Basically, like I said, just context is everything. I can understand where you're coming from. I still have my own opinions about the inevitable. I personally think that the majority of people would just go with the whole don't lump every VTuber in the same category. There's a person behind the VTuber model by the end of the day. I don't think we have to worry about so much as bastardizing the medium, if that makes any sense. I was thinking more along the lines of indie VTubers when I was talking and making that video. Not really so much as the corporate VTubers. I separated them personally.
I don't really think that the corporate VTubers are that much of an issue.
But anyway, I can't really think of anything. Can you? Is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to this topic, or any other misunderstandings you want to clear up with me?
No. Again, I think that there was a lot of people that talked about it. A few people who made videos on it. You were the only one that I felt like had the best take in terms of trying to figure out everything. There's a couple of people that made videos that are just like, I hate you, and I'm just like, I'll add your list to the pile then. I don't care. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. It was a pleasure. Have a good one.
Peace.
And there you have it. There was our conversation. Oh, okay. I need to stretch a little. Wow, that was one interesting conversation we had. Chat, what do you think? Do you have your own input from all of that? Do you have your own input? I say that was a pretty successful conversation. Very successful. What did you say?